All right, back to our top story now, the protests in Thailand. Wayne Hay joins us live again now from outside Government House in Bangkok. Wayne, what's the situation right now?
Well, Hazem, many anti-government protesters have come here trying to force their way into the Government House compound, which is where the Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra would normally be working from. They say that this will be a key step in them toppling this government. They plan to seize Government House. So what they are doing at the moment, if I just step out of shot again and let Tom, cameraman, show you, you'll see many people milling around, and there is a pickup truck going up to the barricades that have been protecting Government House from the protesters and have been pulling those barricades away one by one. The riot police, who are formed up behind those barricades, have been firing several tear gas rounds, but it doesn't seem to be deterring these protesters. There hasn't been any tear gas for several minutes now, and the people continue to, in fact, there goes some more tear gas, but as I say, it doesn't seem to be deterring these protesters from taking away those barricades one by one, and once they clear through those, they'll be faced directly with razor wire and then those lines of riot police. In the last 24 hours or so, the government did ask for the military's help. They were not seeing soldiers on the streets or anything like that. There are some 3,000 soldiers who have been deployed, and they are in some of these government facilities, such as Government House, to help the police, as they say, to protect these government ministries from falling to the anti-government protesters. The government saying that those soldiers are unarmed. Leading up to this, Hazem, we saw so many government buildings falling so easily with very little or no security there from the police. Obviously a lot more security at Government House, but these protesters still seem to be able to remove the barriers and slowly but surely get closer to Government House itself.
And Wayne, I'm not sure if you're in a position right now to confirm any of this, but we've been getting these reports on the wires that anti-government protesters have broken into a compound of the police sports club where the Prime Minister is thought to be. Is there anything more we know on that at all?
Just going to update you with what's happening here. If we can clear some of these people out of the way. Water cannon now being used on the protesters, so the tear gas clearly wasn't working as well as it perhaps should have been. So water cannon just coming across those police barricades now. We can't tell if anyone's broken into the venue that you mentioned, but what we do know is diagonally across from where we're standing now, from the pictures you're seeing, is a school. So we do know that the protesters have broken into there as perhaps some way of finding an alternative route into Government House. Now, I should point out that that part where they're pulling those barricades away doesn't necessarily mean, if they get through there, that they're inside Government House. This is a side road that leads down the main entrance to Government House. There's still obviously a lot of security to get through. The police certainly not backing off as we've seen in so many other locations around Bangkok in recent days. Tear gas being deployed here, and now water cannon. And as you can see quite clearly, the protesters have fallen right back from these barricades now, but certainly they will disperse. And we're looking right down another street now, and not sure if you can see down there, but the crowds of protesters and tear gas there also floating through the air, hasn't it?
And when when a lot of people outside of Thailand are looking at all of this, and they're seeing what appears to be a very unstable situation playing out there, not for the first time in Thailand, what effect is this potentially having on Thailand and its economy?
Well, you know, I'll say one thing. As you mentioned, this is certainly nothing new to Thailand. It goes through these cycles of political upheaval time and time again. Violence on the streets of Bangkok and other cities around this country. But what it does do is rebound remarkably quickly. As you know, it's a very popular tourist destination, very popular with foreign investment from countries like Japan. Of course, this will have a major impact on that. Specifically tourism. Already hotels in Bangkok over the last few days saying that numbers were down after what had been a very good couple of years for tourism, generally pretty good for the economy too. But this will have an effect. But once it dies down, as it has done in recent years, reasonably quickly, then we have seen the Thai economy bounce back fairly quickly. But this is definitely an escalation, and one that we are really just starting to see unfold now.
And Wayne, it certainly does appear that there is a danger that this is what many feared, that this violence has threatened to continue to spiral. Have we heard at all from anyone on the government side or on the opposition side as far as all of this at the moment?
Not in the last few hours from the government side anyway. The Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, upon checking recently, her whereabouts was unknown. Obviously she's not going to be here in Government House today. Excuse me, Hasm, the tear gas getting quite thick in the air here. Step out of camera again so we can see what's going on. But what we have heard from the protest leaders time and time again, including in the last few hours, is that they are in no mood to give up. They are certainly not backing down. Their goal is to topple this government, and they are saying that they will achieve that today. This is the day when they say they will return the power to the people. But the details of what they have been saying have been so vague over the last few days. We don't know what that means. They're saying they're going to set up some sort of People's Council to run this country, some sort of interim government, and then they will hold a free and fair election, always with the king as the head of state. But really, that's as far as it goes, as far as details go. But they are saying, Hasm, that this is the day that they will topple the government led by Yingluck Shinawatra, who, of course, we should remind the viewers, is the brother of the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who was ousted in that coup back in 2006 and who's lived in self-imposed exile, avoiding a jail term for abusing his power. These people, these anti-government protesters, despise him, it's fair to say, and they despise what the government of his sister Yingluck Shinawatra tried to do, and that was bring in an amnesty for all political offences since before the coup in 2006, and at the last minute they tried to change that legislation to include protest leaders, to include politicians, and therefore include Thaksin Shinawatra. And that is why we are seeing such a big movement on the streets right now.
All right, Wayne, we know you will continue to update us on what is a very fluid situation unfolding there in the Thai capital. Wayne Hay reporting to us there from Bangkok under some very difficult conditions.